The first thing we're going to talk about is the difference between asphalt and concrete. This is asphalt cement concrete, and this is Portland cement concrete. This is the asphalt cement. This is the Portland cement. But we call this one asphalt and we call this one concrete, even though they're both concrete. And to get concrete, you want to glue rock together, and then you get concrete. So with asphalt, we have this liquid asphalt. Now, you don't have smell-o-vision, so you can't smell this. But trust me when I tell you it smells like money. Oh, do you guys want to smell it? It smells really good. No? They don't want to smell it. So, liquid asphalt, but it's not very liquid, right? It's pretty hard because it's not 400 degrees. When it gets to be 400 degrees, it's very liquid, right? So we have the liquid asphalt that's gluing the rock and the sand together, right? That's asphalt. With Portland cement, which comes from limestone, and by the way, there's a shortage of this right now, big time shortage of this because of, I think it's because of tariffs or something. Supposedly there's some coming, but for the next 8 weeks, they're going to be rationing this cement. So same rock, same sand, it's in a tumbler, but they're going to add water, and then they're going to dump in the Portland cement, and they're going to blend that all up, and then they're going to load it into a transit mixer truck. So the truck, you've seen it, big drum, it's always turning, right? So the concrete, the cement is in there, and their truck, generally speaking, is going to drive it to our job. Now I have 3 of the transit mixer trucks because it's hard to get materials and it just makes us a little bit more efficient. So it comes to the job, and then we lay it, we could pump it, we can shoot it, we can do whatever, we screed it, we finish it, and it sets up when it stops moving, right? So that's why it's in that mixer truck moving, is because as soon as it stops moving, it starts setting up. So it's kind of a chemical set. But again, it's the same rock and it's the same sand. The only difference is this is the binder for cement, and this is the binder for asphalt, or I should say concrete. On the cold days, wintertime, concrete's great. You got all day, you got plenty of time, you don't have to rush. So they're really different in that way. You know, this is great on a hot day, this is great on a cold day, not so good the other way around. So that's just background information that you need to know for concrete. Bridges, streets and highways are oftentimes concrete. Now, streets and highways can be either or. Parking lots, you guys are managing parking lots, I'm sure, and all your parking lots are asphalt. If you were in Texas, a lot of them would be concrete, but here in California, they're all asphalt a little bit. So your parking lots are generally speaking going to be asphalt. Your playgrounds, right, at your schools, they're all going to be asphalt. As I said, airport taxiways are usually asphalt, where the runways are usually concrete, and then streets and highways. A lot of asphalt, streets and highways, and then labor intensive. But just talking about asphalt and concrete, which one do you think is more expensive? And you can't answer me because we're in a Zoom meeting. So I'm going to answer it for you. Concrete is more expensive to pave with than asphalt. And so the question is, why? The material costs about the same, because think about it. It's the same rock, it's the same sand, right? And then you just have these binders, and these guys are competing. So they're going to make sure their products are competitive, right? So the material itself, there's no difference in what it costs. No difference. So why is concrete more expensive? I have to give you the answer, and the answer is, well, concrete is laid thicker than asphalt, right? And it's like, well, why is that? Well, because concrete's a rigid pavement, and there's going to be a quiz on this, so you might want to take some notes. Concrete is rigid, and asphalt is flexible, right? That's one of the secrets that you need to know, because with that knowledge, you will understand why we do a lot of the things we do with both concrete and with asphalt. So, the answer to the question, why is concrete more expensive? Because they lay it 4 inches at a minimum, right? And with asphalt, you could lay it 2 inches, you could lay it 1 inch, you could lay it however thin you want, because it's flexible pavement, right? And it's completely dependent on what it's sitting. So it's a flexible pavement, and it needs to stay flexible for as long as it can. And we're going to talk about the life of asphalt and all that. But seal coating, a lot of people think of it as an aesthetic thing, like it makes it look good. But it actually has a a way of extending the life, keeping it from becoming brittle before its time. The asphalt is a lower cost going in, right? Because you're putting less of the expensive stuff, right? You're gonna put in, this is like a 2.5-inch core, typical core. This is like a 6-inch core, typical core for concrete. So it's gonna be cheaper to go with asphalt to start because you're gonna use less of the expensive stuff. So that's why your parking lots and your playgrounds and your large driveways are asphalt. It's because it's cheaper, right? And the problem with that is eventually it becomes more expensive. So if you look at the slide, you put it in, you wait a year or two, and if you're smart, you seal coat it, right? Because you want to protect it. And then you go pretty good time, and then maybe you have a little repair, but you seal coat it again. And you keep seal coating and repairing, and eventually it ends up costing you more. Before at the end of its life, it ends up costing you more than concrete would have if you had used that as your initial investment. So concrete's cheaper in the long run if you can afford the right use. You got to use, if you're talking inch for inch, pound for pound, they're the same. So if it's a heavy use and you're going to put 6 inches of anything, right? Let's just say it's the dumpster area, or let's just say it's a high loading area with trucks and stuff. You're gonna use concrete, right? Because it's gonna hold up so much better than asphalt. But on all the areas where cars are going, and if you see these buildings that are being built, all these warehouses being built all over the Bay Area, you'll see where the truck loading area is concrete, and you'll see where the car parking lot is asphalt. And that's kind of the way it's gonna be. So high loading, think about like hard-wheeled forklifts or trucks, anything like that. You're gonna want to use concrete, but the low initial cost will determine that you will use asphalt on most of your big stuff.